All right, Jason, thank you for joining me today on the Monkey Podcast Show. Looking forward to having you on and talking more about who you are, what you've done in this industry, how did you get to the point you are right now. But before for my story about you is I didn't know who you were. I'm newer in this industry, still meeting people every time I go to a new conference, and I had ran into you at the Favor in Orlando or Favre, however they pronounce the FAVR. And right after that, you had this like viral video go out that I'm bummed I didn't know you were doing at the time because I'd love to be on it, but it was hilarious. And so then from there, I've been following you ever since. And then saw you at the VRMA International last year, and now you're on my feed all over. But for those who don't are not on LinkedIn as much as I am or haven't seen that viral video, please introduce yourself, what you do, how are you in the industry, and go from there.
Dude, first off, I'm so bummed at myself that I didn't get you in that video. That was so much fun and like on a whim, the whole like finish the lyric video. But yeah, next time, dude, this next show, we'll definitely have to do something. But
Awesome.
yeah, so I have been in the industry for 10 years. For about a year, I've been rounding up to 10 years, but officially now it's been 10 years, which is like a proud badge of honor. Man, I stumbled into vacation rentals. I think like all of us did. Like no one just like went to college thinking I'm going to get into vacation rentals. I stumbled upon it back. So Kigo was a PMS back in 2015 that I got hired as an SDR making cold calls. I was like, what did I get myself in? What is this world of like Airbnb wasn't even a household name yet. Like no one had really. I felt like I'd found a secret club or something. I don't know. It just seemed so cool to me, and I wanted to observe everything about it. So I was with Kigo for several years. And then I went on to work for Track, and then another kind of small startup PMS. In between there, I did go on the other side of the fence, work at a property management company here in Orlando. So just like I've been in the world, I've been on both sides, and just absolutely love it. And now I'm at Beyond. So I've been there for the past 7 months. Love it. I've been pitching Beyond for probably 10 years, but now I get paid to do it, which is the only difference, which is nice. So yeah, loving helping property managers, man. It's these are something I never thought I'd say. I used to play music, but that was my thing. I moved to Nashville to be a musician, and so it's like weird to think like I would ever fall in love or like with an industry or like the tech side of things to help solve problems. But man, here I am. And yeah, and looking at our industry of like, man, we need to make something that we're fun, dude. This is vacation rentals. So that's that kind of got making some fun content and how we met and talking about this very thing. So yeah, like that's kind of the last 10 years in a nutshell, how I'm finally getting to the point to where I feel like I can put myself out there more and being a little more, um, I don't know. There's like a sense of imposter syndrome that I've had for 10 years. I'm sure you've gone through this, but now I feel like, all right, I'm going to get out there and be a little more bold, be a little more aggressive and put myself, because I just love, mixing up the feed. So yeah, man, that's here we are.
I love that. I had no idea you've been in this for 10 years. And so you probably definitely have seen a lot from even 10 years ago to now with the whole rise of Vacasa and where Vacasa's at now, and especially being Orlando. I mean, that's like the short-term rental mecca of, the industry. So you probably have seen
That was
huge
exactly my
change.
words. My wife was born and raised here. We lived in Dallas at the time. And I was like, I was so sick and tired of cold calling into Orlando. And they were like, oh, well, no, we like our local PMS here. And I'm like, God, I want to be the local guy. So I told my wife, I was like, hey, would you consider moving back to Orlando? She's like, I guess so. My family's there. So yeah, because I was like, it's the mecca of vacation rentals. That's why I'm here. And it doesn't hurt that like all the theme parks are here. I'm 30 minutes from the beach, which is, not too shabby. But yeah, dude, 10 years. And that's crazy to say. Like, there's been a lot of change. And man, in our industry, I mean, 10 years is like 100 years. It's just everything moves so quickly and changes constantly. And so it's been interesting to see the landscape of everything shift.
And you're in a position where you've been on both sides. So I'm sure that when you do talk to, property management companies, that you're giving them a lot of different insights because you're giving them insights from their perspective, which you understand, and also perspective of what your business can offer them and how you can help them in their business. So you're almost like a consultant in that aspect, I'm sure.
I love. I've never thought of myself as and this goes back to the imposter syndrome piece of
Yeah.
like qualify to be a consultant. And then I just have to tell myself, dude, shut up, man.
Yeah.
Like, not only have you spoken to hundreds of property managers about all the pains and ins and outs of what makes it successful, the failures, like you have lived it. That was a short amount of time that I was there, but man, it was like being thrown in the deep end. Like, I didn't realize really how hard this job is. I did, but then once you're in it and you realize how much of a mess it is and how hard it is if you don't have the right tools in place, man, it's tough, man. These people out here are grinding. And then now maybe appreciate it more coming back to the vendor side. I can have a real conversation with them, like true empathy versus sympathy, which I think it's above and beyond just like your ability to help and consult in the right way. So, but how long have you been? So you said you're newer. I feel like you've always been around.
So we stumbled, like you said earlier, no one goes into wanting to be in the vacation rental industry. So, like, Cam Monkey was created in 2018 in Scottsdale, Arizona, the other short-term rental mecca on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And it was created for homeowners. And so my background was in the real estate industry. I did title and escrow sales. And some of my clients that were investors had some long-term rentals, and one particularly was converting some of his LTRs into STRs. And then 2018 was the first time I remember hearing, this is actually probably like 2019, but like this was the first time I actually heard the term STR, really heard Airbnb used as like a business. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, yeah, but my damn trash cans. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know someone that can help you with that. But and I was like, but I think he's in Scottsdale. You said these are in Peoria, and he's like, I'd pay $100 a month. So like that was like when for me, I was like, okay, wow, maybe my friend who started this company is on to something, but maybe it's not homeowners because he had a hard time getting those properties after going after homeowners for the first year. And then here I am bringing one person on with like 20 properties. I literally doubled the business overnight with one person, and he took all year to get 20 people. So I was like, hey, I'll invest in Cam Monkey, but like I think we should go after short-term rentals, and that's how you can grow this. And so that was kind of how I came on. But still, at that point, I was W-2, title and escrow, and really didn't even know still at that point that like Airbnb was this whole like industry, that the vacation rental industry was even a thing. I just thought some investors are converting this into short term. Like I just thought that was like just a thing, like a fad. And then the pandemic happened, and I lost my job in title and escrow. And at that same time, um, by chance, my brother had worked at a hotel as a valet person, and someone else that did the valet with him, his wife was a salesperson at Turnkey. And my brother is like 10 years younger than me. He goes, hey, have you ever heard of Turnkey? I was like, no. He goes, well, they're pretty big. And I was like, kind of like, will you tell me about my like business? You don't know. So I remember looking them up and be like, oh my God, they're all over the place. And that was the first company that I saw that was like, wow, there's actually even bigger companies than just this. And so we actually got that meeting and ended up getting like 75 properties with them one day, all in Phoenix. And then we were like, holy shit. But then the world shut down, and then we lost those 75 properties, but then ended up getting them back shortly after because, like, as you know, like people were still traveling, especially in Florida and Arizona. And so for us, like, it was awesome because like everyone was up open for business. And so then it was like just shooting fish and barrel because people were like busy and no one wanted to touch anything because it was like this COVID and people were like afraid to touch trash cans or go near people. So like I had this like business that was just like, we'll take your trash cans for you. Don't touch the trash cans. Don't get COVID. Like we were using everything as an excuse or a reason to like use Cam Monkey, and that slowly worked. And then, but we really found the niche in like the vacation rental industry. And then at the end of the 2020, I found like the VRMA and saw that there's a conference, and then like flew there and snuck in and met some people, got some more properties, fly to the next conference, sneak in. Um,
Right.
just I've been hustling, dude. And so
Dude, that is,
really,
I could, yeah, it's
so like
been, yeah, it's so weird to think it's been 5 years now that you've been like on the scene present. And in my mind, you might as well have been here for 10 years because I just feel like I've seen you so much. You're so consistent. Shout out to you, by the way. They just like when I get on LinkedIn, you're there, dude. You pop on my feed, whether it's a meme, something, and I for years have been saying, man, I just wish that like the LinkedIn feed for our industry was a little bit more fun because like I said earlier, like we're vacation rentals, it should be fun. And you have consistently shown that personality, like that we should be like, presenting as like, hey, this is a cool place to be. Like and we don't have to be so stuffy. Cause I for a short term worked in multifamily, long term. Talking about
Okay.
stuffy, dude. Like I actually ended up coming right back to vacation rentals within a year because I was like, I got to go back to my people, man. This is more fun on this side. So,
Right.
yeah, dude, you've done a great job of just like being out there, constantly being on my feed, which that makes me think, oh yeah, Alex, dude, he's been around. But it's weird because I feel like just met. I mean, like, so
Yeah.
Favor, we were there, but I really was at New Orleans that I had a conversation with you. Like, we had a good talk, and I was complimenting you. Because you're like a little celebrity here, man. Like in the industry, you have these celebrities that like you see them at the conferences, you're like, oh, there's Alex, or or whoever it maybe is. But it's just like I got to go say hi to this guy. I mean, dude, so finally, I was like, dude, your branding's amazing. Your booth. This is what's crazy for anyone who wasn't there at the international show. For whatever reason, this past year, everyone's booth was like more colorful than ever. I was just like hit in the face with all this like crazy color, and you guys showed up just white. It stood out more than anything, just this stark white black print, and it was perfect, dude. I was like, genius. So yeah, dude, I that was great.
We try to keep it simple, like just like the business. Like the business is a simple, service, automate trash day. We try to keep it like simple to the point. Like I love just like black and white. I love just like
Hmm.
simplicity, of everything. And I appreciate the kind words that you say about me. And I feel like now I feel like you are coming out of your shell a little bit. Even though you say you're like, this imposter syndrome, I don't see it, but I get everyone has that
But
stuff themselves, but you are coming out of your shell enough to affect like be a co-MC of the VRNation conference. So like I mean that is a huge step. So first kudos to you. And I feel like first of all I saw your last video of how do I match Julie with that accent, which I loved, and I would probably say the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. But you do give her a run for her money. I mean, you do a good job, and you bring the vibes, you bring the energy, and I think that's what a majority of this is. And now knowing a little bit more about you, you are bringing like this different like perspective of business, acumen that, especially in this industry, that everyone would want to know. So like you'd be like the perfect person to be like, hey, this is a good, blah blah blah. You should take notes on that. Like your perspective of what's going on, and Julie as well. She's built a business and sold it, but really cool now knowing a little bit more about your background, because you're right. Like maybe you're just coming out of your cage now. People are just finding out, and they're probably like, "Who's this guy?" But like now
Yeah.
is your way to like kind of tell everyone.
Yeah, I do feel like I can now stand on my decade of experience to finally just, like I said, tell myself, like, dude, don't let that, because yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just, I feel like there's so many great people and leaders, voices and faces in our industry that are already doing such a great job. Like, there's no need for me to come in and try to weasel my way in there and be a face or a personality. But I'm like, it's just like, following podcasts or online personalities that you just stick to as comedians. It's like, who cares? There's honestly, our industry is so, it feels big at times because you go to our international shows and it just seems so grand and big. But like, dude, our industry is so tiny compared to everyone else's. So it's like, there's plenty of room for everyone to kind of give their thing. And although I do like to have a good time and mix it up with like, just being a silly goose, there's the part of consultating property managers is like my heart. Like I love doing that. It's very rewarding. So I want to be able to provide a way to have some fun, but also like, hey, like I can legit help you if you have questions, like guide you in the right way. I think it helps too. It used to not be that way in the vendor side. There was a bit of competition, like especially PMSs. I'll never forget, man, my first conference. I was just happy to be there, just like this was back, gosh, maybe 2016 or I don't know if it was late 2015. It was in Atlanta. It was back when Verma used to do like East and West regional shows. This was before like the international show was even a thing. And I would go like shake my hand and put my hand out to meet like the other PMS guys, and they really weren't really into it. I mean, there was a competition there, but since then, I've tried to like change that a bit. And dude, now we're all like best friends, you know? And it's just like, even with the pricing side too, it's like, dude, all my buds work at all the other pricing tools. Like, it's a really cool community that like I'm very happy to be here now because it's just like, dude, what cool change. Everyone realizes that, hey, we're all just trying to do our best. We all have a thing that we specialize in or feel like we do really well, and let's just, let's help each other out. And yeah, dude, it's a cool scene right now. So I'm glad that dude, this community that like even you're building here, it's just like, and dude, you've really inspired me because when we talked to this last international show, um, I've struggled. Man, I want to be able to put myself out there, but like I'm nervous just to do it. So yeah, this is my taking my step forward into the deep end. I mean, going right into VRNation, co-hosting the show. I made a decision. I wasn't necessarily like a New Year's resolution. I feel like when I call it that, I'm gonna break it. So I'm not calling it that. But it is my time to just yeah, let people know who I am so I can help them ultimately. Like whether it is bringing like a smile to their morning on LinkedIn with something stupid or silly, or being able to book a call with them to whether it's with beyond pricing or separate of, hey, if you have a PMS question, like I'm sure I can help you. So yeah, that's been kind of the goal, and now I'm nervous. Alex, I got this gig co-hosting, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? But I'm super stoked for it, man. I do we have some fun ideas. I've met with Julie quite a bit, and there may or may not be a lot of Australian jokes. I've got a list ready to go, but dude, she's a trip, and yeah, work with Steve Trover on getting the word out. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun to see how this show is different. Uh, so tell me, are you? So I assume you guys are like promoting and sponsoring VR Nation as well.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm on the advisory board, helping out with getting
Nice.
out the word, getting out, the name that is, the conference is coming, not just this one, but the other ones. They have these little road shows as well. So we
Yeah.
actually have a meeting later today as ourselves, just kind of game planning on, continuing our methods in marketing as well as you and Julie doing your thing. Getting the name out there because I feel like this would be my first actual conference attending this one, even before the what it was in the past. Um, Again, like I've only been to besides the VR, VRMA, the Favor was the first time I went to that one as well. So like we are so as much as like I feel like and I love that feedback of you think I've been here for so long because I feel
Yeah.
like we're still like 3-4 years now. I mean, but our first VRMA conference was in 2022. So we are going like now is like our first year of like coming out of like, okay, you know
Wow,
what?
dude.
Like, so like to me, like I still feel like it's fairly new because even when we were building the company, like I was still kind of, um, like in the beginning, like I mean, I take the trash cans to curb and back, but like you have one first impression, so like, you want to sell the business, but at the same time, you want to make sure you actually do the job right. So it was always like this like dance of like, okay, we have the properties, but like wait, but not too many properties, and like and now we everything works so perfect, like it's everything streamlined. So now I'm like, let's try to break the system, like let's add on thousands, and like so now it's a little bit different. So now that's why like I felt more confident in my business, I felt more confident in our systems. We have our own technology now, like everything's just built exactly how we need it. Like all this, like SOPs are like everything's in place. So that was all the hard part. So now it's in the business, it's fun. Now it's like, all right, like let's blow it up. And
Well,
but
because if you grow too quickly without scaling, then you're completely screwed. So
yeah,
that was super smart that you took your time and did it right. Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, well, you put such a stamp on your brand, and like it seems like you've been around way longer than 2022 is when your first Verma show. That's crazy.
and I felt like how you felt in the beginning because at first it was like always me doing it, and so like I'm kind of a little bit different in the aspect, but like I was doing it at first, like all the marketing myself, and now a lot of the marketing is like Cam Monkey or these memes, right? So like I wanted to get away from like Alex's Cam Monkey to getting it to like Cam Monkey is Cam Monkey, and now I'm trying to build my
Yeah.
personal brand. Like I didn't, like yes, I'm always going to be attached to Cam Monkey, I get that, but I'm also trying to build my own personal brand as well. And that's where like you're kind of at too. It's like you are a business. Your business just is under like beyond, like, and that's where like
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one thing that like if you were going to do better of like getting yourself out there, that's exactly it. Like letting people know your business, like let 'em- like you, like who are you and how can you help them? Because like every business is the same. Like people don't know that our service exists, so we have to get that out there to as many people, let them know our service exists.
Dude, yeah, and there's a fine line. I just actually Alex Husner just sent me this podcast Gary Vee put out like a week ago about personal branding and professional branding. The difference it shouldn't be an or, it's an
Mhm.
and that's something I've been struggling with. And 'cause I want to make sure I can, I can put myself out there in a way that's just not tied to beyond. That I'm able to, feel comfortable consulting for other things than just my normal day-to-day pricing stuff. And
Mhm.
what's awesome is that Beyond has been really supportive of that. Like when I was a little nervous bringing it up, I was like, "Hey, I've been, reached out to host this VRNation coming up," and man, they could not have been like more supportive and happier because I'm just like, I'll be there, but not representing Beyond. And they're like, "Oh, it's amazing! You absolutely should do that." And so that gave me like this ease of like, okay, I can be myself and do my own vacation rental thing while also representing Beyond. And so yeah, dude, it's an and not an or. So it's finding that kind of that place and riding the line. It's yeah, it can be challenging, but it's once you let go of that, there's insecurity and like questioning yourself, man, you can just go all in and do it.
It's definitely a mindset, and I think that you're understanding that now. 'Cause that's what it sounds like. Because you're exactly right. Like you are a walking billboard. That's who you are. You just happen to represent Beyond right now. They're just sponsoring you. You just happen to
Mhm.
hang your title there. But at the same time, you have all this value. So like as like and that's I learned this in my title and escrow days. Like I didn't realize like how like know how every job prepares you for the next job. Like I never really thought about that in title and escrow at the time, but like now, like title and escrow is such an ancillary fee. You need it when you're buying, whether you're buying cash or a loan or not using a lender or whatever it is. Like you might not need those things, but you always need title and escrow. So I would meet with these real estate agents, and I would even talk about title and escrow. I would talk about are you getting the best loan rate? Are you getting the best, leads for your sales team? Like I would sell all these other things and help them with their business. Because if I help them get one more deal or two more deals a year, would that be better than, like me giving you some like bullshit stuff? And they're like, oh yeah. And then like,
It-
all I want is your title and escrow. So I'll help you build your business. Just give me your title and escrow. And that's where I really taught
100%.
myself to be that. And that's what you're saying, essentially what you can do too.
Dude, even right now, when I'm on my demos, talking about dynamic pricing and market insights and all the stuff there that we do really well, that we're known for, I end up getting into like the PMS stuff. Like, well, how are you running your operations? You're like, how's your housekeeping? Because I genuinely love talking about it. And they're like, oh, wow, you're doing this manually? No, you should be doing this. And what's great is that you naturally genuinely build value in other areas, and they are okay. I can trust this guy. Like this, he's not going to bullshit me. And then like the other stuff just naturally comes second, and it works itself out. Like, oh yeah, now, yeah, if I trust you here, if you're not going to BS me here, then yeah, let's talk more about pricing, and it ends up working out, and it's great.
And
But
your business really is like it's all connected, so it's kind of hard for you not to talk about something else, even if you didn't want to. You kind of have to. Like, I mean,
100%.
like in some aspect, 'cause, like you have to ask these
hmm
questions to see how like how's it all working? How do you want to use it? So it just comes up
Also,
naturally anyway.
it's bad habits too, just from, I mean, gosh, man, 8 years of talking only about PMS solutions to problems that they're dealing with. So that's like ingrained. And pricing is like, it's in there. So like it does work itself in, and it's all connected. But um, I will say it's going to be nice going into VR Nation. It's going to be a different, I don't want to say anxiety. I mean, there's going to be some of that there naturally, but like I usually go into a conference just with like, okay, I've got to do my best to talk to as many people, make connections, because it is just that genuine of like, hey, I want you just to know who I am, and I want to get to know you. Like, what drives you? Because then like the business conversations, that stuff happens naturally. So that's my goal is like just to meet. And now what it's going to be is like, oh, I now have to like meet a room full of people. Like it's gonna be because did you go to the NWVRP conference in Boise, Idaho last year. Okay, so it's a kind of talk about where all this came from. I That was the show where they announced the change. So it was NWVRP. We're a regional show in the Northwest. But guess what, guys? Big announcement, drum roll. We're now going to be known as VRNation. It was so cool. Like I didn't even know that was going to happen. I was there with the little startup PMS that I was with last year, and I was attending and did not expect that at all. And I was like, oh, this is very cool. Like they're rebranding, and they said, oh, and by the way, we're going to go national, not regional. I was like, oh, even better. I was just super stoked. Like the whole vibe of that conference was unlike anything that I experienced. So I was like, oh, this is going to be way cooler because I thought, oh, this is really cool for like a regional thing. But then, with really no ties to VR Nation at the time, I felt like I was bought in. I was like, whoever's running this, I'll vote for him for president. I was like, I'm all in because it just seemed like this. They knew it was like this organization run by property managers that just got it. The respect that me as a vendor felt, and even all my friends that are in the vendor hall felt like, oh, they want us here. Like we were cared about, and I feel like there was a lot more time given for like the vendor walkthrough and like letting, it was very inviting. So I was just like, man, this is like so amazing. So now it's crazy to think it's been almost 12 months later. Here we are, and it's like it's about game time, man. So it's gonna be fun, dude.
Yeah, it's really cool how you like manifested almost the fact that you're like, I'm going into these conferences trying to see how I can meet these people, and now like everyone's just gonna want to meet you because like you're gonna be like the MC, like everyone's just gonna be drawn to you like a magnet. So this is like awesome how you manifested that.
Unless I completely bomb, they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, this guy." Yeah. Uh, we'll see. I might just if I get up there, if things start going south, I'll just start. I might start a dance battle. Who knows, dude? I might just start going off the cuff, which is probably what's gonna happen anyway. Whatever plans Julie and I have will probably just be thrown out. But
No, you're
yeah,
great. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I mean, that's gonna be awesome. So I'm super excited. And I've seen Julie several times, and she's just a natural. So you're gonna have, someone great next to you that, has done this before, and
well, I can't wait to
yeah,
meet her in person. We've had a couple Zoom calls of just like coming up with bits, and like I was actually going to meet this week because we now officially, Alex, have the schedule, so we know. I've been a part of all the planning meetings so far of um, be, you know choosing the speakers. Like, how are we going to differentiate ourselves? Because like this is not just a slogan. I mean, this is a mission statement of out with
yeah,
the old, in with the bold. And it's not really meant to be like, hey, we're going to kick the old guys out. It's not that. It's just it's a representation of, hey, there's a lot of new faces out there that haven't been represented yet. They just haven't had that opportunity. They're just getting into it. And man, to hear what they have to say, like I'll tell you the weirdest thing, Alex, is Gen Z property managers. In my mind, I feel like Gen Z is still like children, but like, oh no, these are adults running businesses now. And they have a new way of thinking. They're very like technology focused. So we have several new comers have been in the industry for just a couple of years now. They'll be speaking on topics that we really haven't heard before. So to see the list of all the sessions is very exciting for me. I'm hoping I can step away, have enough time to dip in and hear some of these because it's going to be a lot different than what we've seen before.
are you guys gonna be sharing that with everyone else, or is that
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's going to be officially posted. We've got kind of like the last final draft that was sent to me via email just to kind of help me and Julie figure out the timing of how much we're needed and maybe some bits that we have to write. And because really, by the way, I've never been to a conference where there's been an MC throughout the whole conference. Maybe you'll have someone do an intro, but we're going to do our best to really keep things flowing, keep it fun and moving after each section. Sometimes in a session you don't really know where to go next or what's happening. You have to pull out your agenda. So we're going to help have it flow as much as possible. So yeah, we've got this kind of last draft to help us think through that, but it's going to be posted on the website. I believe there is one version of it posted now, but they're going to have that finalized here any day now.
I'm super excited for it. I mean, this is gonna be my first, like I said, conference with the VR Nation or even the NW, like what it was before. And I've only heard great things. I had a buddy, Jonathan Wicks at Well and Good, that went last year. He said they put a great to get like a hospitality thing or a great like like Olympic. They had these different things that they were doing that made it really engaging. So he,
Dude, they ended it. This is the coolest thing. Not only is like the sessions were great, during the vendor showcase, they had music playing. It just felt good. And then they ended with the housekeeping Olympics, is
Yeah.
what it was. So
Yeah.
they really fun. It was such a big hit last year that we're doing it again this year. So we're going to have the housekeeping Olympics. I would assume it's going to be even bigger than last year. And it's fun seeing your friends scramble around to see who can vacuum the fastest or make a
Yeah.
bed the quickest. Like and also it's like to feature that side of the vacational industry, which is like the thing that most people are like, I don't want to deal with, housekeeping. But no, man, it's featuring that area and having fun with it. It can be a
And
cool
you,
way to end it.
and I heard exactly what you had said, that everyone just said that it was very tight knit. It was the energy was up the whole time, and everyone left feeling very good about it. So that's what I'm really excited to about, you feeling that culture that, has already been created, I guess, like only a couple of years. And so, and some of the list of people I see that we're reaching out, the people who are going to attend are awesome people. So I can't wait to see some of the speakers as well, to see, like, who these people are going to go see, because I've been, like I said, I've been selling it, and I've been selling the fact that, like, it's going to be all, and people are already buying into it. So now to actually put some
Yeah.
faces and names of people who are going to go is gonna be even better.
Oh man, yeah, dude, the keynote, it's going to be amazing. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces, so a lot of your the fan favorites are going to be there. But the thing that's most exciting to me is being able to see a different new wave of property managers that are there, like ready to learn,
Mhm.
get connected, and welcome them into the family and learn from them. It's just like, listen, if you've been doing this for 20, 30 years, there's still stuff you've got to learn. Like, you know a lot. Let's not get it twisted. You understand how to run this business, but like we talked about in the very beginning, every year this is changing. Something is shifting. So, yeah, I think everyone's going to be able to learn from each other.
Well, Jason, I appreciate your time today and coming on and giving our audience, a fresh new look on who you are, to get them a little bit more acquainted. So when they are going to the conference, they'll know who they're going to, half of who they're going to be seeing. And also just sharing, like, that you have all this knowledge and that you can help property managers with, basic questions, or even intricate, or even, more, uh, intelligent questions. You can probably help them on a scale of different things. So,
Dude, yeah,
yeah,
anytime. Like, hit me up. Seriously, if you DM me, I will answer you. If you want to have a call and ask me whatever you want, dude, I'll be there and love to help you out any way I can.
well, I was going to say, how do they find you? So they find you on LinkedIn? Is there an email? How would they, find you if they're interested, and do you have some questions, or just want to, pick your brain on some
I
things?
Yeah, dude, just LinkedIn's great. Yeah, I think that's the thing that most of us are connected on, and yeah, hit me up there. I'm on it. I see it, every day, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna take a scary step, and I'm gonna start posting more, and yeah, so you're gonna see me on there, whether you like it or not.
Good.
So yeah, hit me up, comment, and DM me, and some good things to know about the show. I'm sure you have one, but I think most any of the leadership at VRNation, we've got a promo code to help out with getting a better deal on the rates. And also, I believe it's April 7th, it might be April 6th, but it's definitely like first week in April. The room blocks for VRNation are expiring. It's a really great deal on rooms. So I encourage you to book it because it will I mean, if it doesn't sell out, it's going to get close to selling out like very quickly here in the next month. So, man, dude, it's here, it's coming. So get ready for it.
Well, I'm looking forward to being there. Looking forward to seeing you there. And till then, take care. Look out for those videos on LinkedIn, and I'm going to hold you to it if I don't see them coming up.
I'll tag you in them. How about that? That way, I'll tag you in all of them. But
All
dude,
right,
Alex,
well,
thank you for having me on here, man. It's so good to see your face, and man, I love what you're doing, man. Thank you for doing this show. I'm loving it.
thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day, buddy.
All right.